this is our Agxcel GX5 hydraulic D115 3 diaphragm pump, and we have it mounted on our bracket here that mounts to the back of the CCS planter with the lift assist wheels here. And we're using a magnetic flow meter on here as well, and 8 sections. All of this comes pre-assembled. This pump will give you up to about 15 gallons per minute of fertilizer application. And this is what's running our 2x2. And so on each row, we have a 2x2 running on it, and we're going to be applying about 30 gallons an acre. And if you notice here, we have a flow meter on every single row. So this is our GX7 that's going to monitor the flow, and then our GX2 is going to be monitoring also flow here. GX7 with the in-row furrow application. And on the end row over here, we have it where a lot of times we get questions on application out the back. Customers may at times want to do, let's say, 30 gallons an acre, and they're wondering if they have to split it, or if they want to split it, will they get even rates? Well, the only way you're going to get even rates is if you put dual diaphragms or check valves in here, and an orifice on each side, and that's going to help you equalize both sides. Liquid will find the least path of resistance, so if you only have a check valve on one side, then it's going to go down the easy side, and you're going to get more out of one end than the other. Or even if you had it up here, the check valve at in the center, it's still going to find the least path of resistance, and you won't get equalization of fertilizer. And that's why we're splitting it with 2 same orifices, just splitting the rate coming out the back here as well. Okay, so this is a 16-row 30 John Deere 1775. A lot of questions that we get typically are, how do I get started? What do I do? Basically, most of our components are pre-assembled. And so one of the first things you want to do is determine where you're going to mount the electric. And then we also have a hydraulic, so this is going to be an in-furrow and a 2x2 system. So the first thing you do is locate where the electric pumps are going to go. And you can see on here, everything that we designed comes pre-assembled for you. And so we basically installed it all together and mounted it down between the CCS tanks. That bracket comes pre-installed when we ship it. And you're basically taking the 2 bolts that lock down this beam, loosening them. You don't have to take them off, you just loosen them, slide the bracket in, and clamp it right back down. And you're done. That one's set up and it comes pre-assembled, and then you start. From there, you mount the electric system, and then in the back, the first thing you want to do is mount your hydraulic system. So this is the Agxcel GX5 D115 hydraulic system. Gets mounted, so everything's been mounted over here. That's the first thing you want to do when you start to set up a planter, is initially first mount your pumps. So that all your pumps they come pre-assembled. You mount all the pumps, that way you know where your plumbing is going to go from there. We mounted the section valves. This is an 8-section setup. So we got 4 on one side and 4 on the other. We're going to run 8 sections both in 2x2 and 8 sections and the in-furrow. So now that we have our hydraulic pump mounted, we have our electric pump mounted, the next step you want to take is mount your manifolds. That way you know from your manifolds where they're going to be set and where you're going to plumb it. So here we mounted our in-furrow and 2x2 manifolds. So we have the in-furrow on the top and the 2x2 on the bottom. So once you mount your manifolds, we have one on the right, one on the left. Once that's set up, then we can start plumbing, because now we know where all the stationary items are going to be. Your hydraulic pump in the back, electric pump on top, then your manifolds on the right, manifolds on the left. Once that's done, then you can start plumbing. A lot of questions that we get basically are, where should the manifolds be mounted? There's a lot of busy toolbars on here, a lot of U-bolts and so forth, and brackets. Where should they be mounted? Well, the simple question is, when you fold, we don't want to hit the tank. And so basically when you come out, you have to measure. A good practice is, we know that half the planter is going to be sucked in when it hits goes on the right side, and this planter is not going to close all the way. because these beams here basically won't allow it. So mount it on the center of the planter, and then obviously you want to fold it to make sure that it does post correctly. Okay, so this is the GX7 row-by-row monitoring system that we've mounted on this John Deere 1775 planter. And so basically it's showing that the system is running and it is monitoring each row. So each row has 2, and all the rows will daisy chain to each other. So it daisy chains across each row. And then on the opposite side, we have the harness coming down to each row, and then we have it into the check valve, and then we have the flow meter that's going to be monitoring each row here. And as we go through, it basically daisy chains into each section. So we just daisy chain it across, and then we have the main harness that comes through, and this goes down into the module, and then the module wirelessly transmits it in the cab. And then we have the GPS speed sensor. So you'll see up there by the Starfire 3000. I'll get up there. So here's the Starfire 3000, and then we have a harness that basically taps into the harness, the Starfire, and then we intercept the GPS signal to be able to track GPS coordinates, and so that when we're placing liquid down, we're tracking it with GPS. And it's a very simple connection here. All we're doing is taking ours and pigtailing it right into the Starfire and capturing that signal. So right here we have the iPad, and so we have 2 GX7 flow showing the power's on, ready to go, and they're wireless, so we just happen to put this in the cab here. We go in, and then you can see the GX7 Wi-Fi that we're connected to already, and then we scroll over to the app. App is red, it's connecting. Now it shows it's green and it's connected. Select the row, and you'll see the rows are starting, they're ready to go. And if we had GPS running right now, we'd have the location. And so this is basically our settings. Go demo mode,